You say goodbye, I say hello. We try to say goodbye to Mystery Science Theater 3000, The Return, and hello to our first ever in-studio guest, Farhad Muhammad. Mystery Science Theater 3000 show starts. We've got movie sign now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Well, we went this far into the show, and I did it every time I said we got movie sign. But then this time I actually thought, let's pay it forward. Let's tease it forward. Let's tell people what show they're about to watch.
You could have framed it like parentheses.
I should have. Parentheses, we've got movie sign. Anyway, welcome to the Mystery Science Theater 3000 after show.
Welcome back.
It is our last show for this season, but stay tuned at the end.
Phenomenal.
We'll tell you about something very fun that Andrew and I are going to do next week over
fun.
here.
Soup's dupes fun.
Yeah, but we're not going to tell you the top of the show.
Not yet.
Because you got to keep watching. And as you all know, Christian Bladt at Christian DMZ. Andrew Mena at Andrew Mena.
That's true.
That's where people can find
That's
you.
where they can
and where
find
do
you
they
on the
find your new podcast, The Dungeon Hole?
Oh, Welcome to the Dungeon Hole is available on SoundCloud. If you search Dungeon Hole or just search our Twitter, Dungeon Hole. All one word.
Dungeon Hole wasn't taken. That's
It
amazing.
surprisingly wasn't, right? I'm
And
so glad I didn't have to tack some numbers on that.
materialized here above the satellite of love, on the satellite of Buzz, above the earth.
Yes.
Mr. Farhad Muhammad. Perhaps you know him from the chat room here at the show.
Yes.
If you've ever been in the chat
If
room,
you've been in the chat room,
He
you know
may seem
Farhad Muhammad.
familiar.
Farhad Muhammad, you materialized from the chat room. That would be an
Yeah.
invention exchange. If
I
we
could
could
have called it magic.
materialize
but
people, yeah.
He insisted it was science.
So, we're going to start off, we're going to talk a little bit about episode 1114, At the Earth's Core.
Yes.
Which, for some reason, we were having a conversation earlier. I was talking to Farhad for an episode of my podcast, The Black Cast. It'll be posted in a few weeks.
Wonderful.
And I, for some reason, said, yeah, you know that movie, Voyage to the Center of the Earth or something. Like, no, this is a much worse movie than that.
Oh, yeah.
It is not that. This is At the Earth's Core.
But enjoyable in its own right.
Yes.
And very enjoyable.
Oh my! Can we get more Peter Cushing, Doug McClure movies retroactively? Can we?
Well, we've already had CGI Peter Cushing in Rogue
just
One.
we need
So, how much money do you think it would cost to do retroactive, CGI Doug McClure?
I feel like if we get this Peter Cushing, that's going to be the expensive part,
Yeah.
and then the
Yeah.
Doug McClure,
The
we'll maybe
McClure's
get for a
pretty easy.
deal. Like
Yeah.
they'll just be like, you can have this Doug McClure footage.
It's like, we got it laying around. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
all right, you might as well. And yeah, I mean, it was fun.
Oh gosh, the
And-
buddy cop movies they could have made.
And we also had a familiar face from an earlier episode of MST3K The Return. Carolyn Monroe, who was in Star Crash. Star Crash, stay tuned. Maybe hear something about Star Crash
interesting,
later. And it's funny though, because she kind of looked like, I'm like, oh, she looks like familiar. Is she from something? Oh, she's from, I think, that bad movie.
Yeah.
And then
I
I was
did
sure
not
because
recognize
there
her.
was a great line when they said, well, Hasselhoff after she kissed Doug
Yes,
McClure.
that was
And
the
then you're
moment
like,
where I was
that's oh. Fortunately,
I looked
unfortunately,
it
we
up.
never got more Danny from the Time Travelers. I would have liked
Yeah.
another movie
We
with him.
need him.
Yeah, let's put him in the CGI movie. So, CGI Peter Cushing.
Yes.
CGI Doug McClure.
Yes.
CGI Danny, whatever the actor's name is.
Right.
CGI Carolyn Monroe.
Are we
while we're at it.
remaking Star Trek right now?
I think we might.
I think we're remaking Star Trek right now.
It's gonna be so good.
Oh my gosh.
People are gonna love our Star Trek.
Peter Cushing's Spock will be my favorite thing, you guys.
That would be excellent. Yes.
Doug McClure, Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see
But
that.
This was them.
he's going to do a dual role.
Yeah.
Where Scotty is Kirk's brother, so he's also going to be Scotty.
And it's just in one of the wigs from
Yeah,
this movie.
right, exactly.
Yes. Those wigs, you guys.
Everybody,
were, oh my gosh.
Stay tuned.
So
This is
amazing.
going to be amazing. Anyway, so obviously this is the final episode of the season,
Yes.
Right.
and we have no announcement about a season 12. No,
Not
So I mean, Netflix throws money at all kinds of things. They're probably going to do another Iron Fist. They throw money at everything.
At everything.
Literally everything. What? Why not more? And what happened with the Kickstarter? Where'd that money go?
We don't know that they're not doing it.
Yeah, we don't.
We just
That's
don't
true.
know in what capacity it might be done.
Yeah.
Because we still have spoilers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's
Jonah
spoilers.
gets murdered. What? I was so surprised. How did you guys feel about that? Let me ask.
I think that it's a good out if they do another season and he doesn't
want
come
to
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, he's just too busy
Otherwise,
being
why not?
Jonah
He
Ray.
survives the Starlight.
Yeah, and then
sure.
and it's just exactly. It'll be a fun way to explain that he's actually. Oh no, he was just in there, and it's a friendly monster.
Or Reptilicus Metallicus.
Oh yeah, Reptilicus Metallicus. Just Reptilicus.
He's just like
Yeah.
he's like a sweet monster. We find out. In
Yeah,
season 2.
and by the way, in the chat, James Farasi says, "Oh hi, Fard," and of course it's Farad, but it's printed Fard.
It's important.
That's where people find you at Fard Muhammad,
Fard
but it's
Muhammad,
Farad Muhammad,
Exactly,
our
yeah.
special guest.
It's like
here.
a bard with an.
And
Exactly.
then he wants to know what we think that they'll do for next season. Well, here's the thing, James. We're talking about that right now.
Yes.
And I think that the show can go on. You can do another season in 10 years if you have to for some reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would like it to be sooner, but I waited 18 years for this season, so okay, whatever.
I like the show a lot. I think it's like relatively inexpensive to make. It
It
seems like
sure seems like it.
the amount of effort and time and artistry though that they put into the stuff that they do make is pretty wonderful
Yes.
and like
Yeah.
delightful, charming. Like so.
You know what? Here's the reason why, Andrew. You can't put a budget on love. They put a lot of love into those props.
That's. I mean, you're being hokey, but it's so true. It's
No,
so very
I mean,
true. You earned it. No, you earned it.
I earned that moment.
Yeah.
I earned that cornball
Love
moment.
conquers all moment.
Yeah, love does. The greatest love of all is Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah.
I believe that's what that song is
I
about.
think it's true.
But we've talked many times about the little props that they do, the little
Yeah,
action
and
figures and
just-
things,
yeah,
and
yeah.
just the amount, like days people spend doing, like, we're gonna make a whole village from Yongari.
They could easily make like a fortune if they
Yeah.
opened up some sort of museum just featuring some of that stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's true.
I would pay to go and check
I
it
would
out,
absolutely.
walk through at least.
Yeah, and I will let Farad have a drink of his beverage, and then I will ask him, what do you think about the way that the season ended and the future of the show?
Well, I mean, I felt it was rather sudden that they decided to kill off, or quote unquote, Jonah at that point, because the departure of the other two hosts were done less violently, I guess.
Quietly, it seemed like.
Yeah,
you know?
Joel escaped in a box marked Hamdingers,
Right.
and Mike actually got to go back down to earth and live happily ever after, so he thought, in an apartment watching movies with Carl and Tom Servo.
Exactly.
Because of those things, I feel like it has to be something different than him just dying. It's such an easy out.
Yeah. It's almost like Colonel
So-
Blake being shot down with the shield of Japan.
What would actually be funny is if they have him die, but then it's like his identical twin brother,
Yes.
and so
They
it's
do-
still
they
Jonah
do a
Ray
beer
or
fest.
yeah, exactly, a clone of him or something,
Right.
And then it's just he's still on the show, and they're like, oh yeah, he's dead now.
Well, I mean, we know they have Cynthia, so there's no reason they
That's
can't
true.
just
Yeah,
clone
exactly.
someone.
By the way, it
like
wasn't until
that.
this episode I realized that Cynthia was a different actress.
Really?
I thought it was Mary Jo Pell the
Yeah,
whole time.
It was darn good. It was first of all darn good
Solid.
casting. and
I
darn
had
good
no
makeup.
idea. I really thought it was her the whole time, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," but no, it's just they made it. Anyway,
She did so good.
Farad. So your thought, obviously, interesting that they chose to kill him, but
Yes.
the show can continue.
Yes,
Do you
absolutely.
hope it continues? Should it continue?
I do believe it should continue.
Most importantly, will it continue?
And I'm hoping that it will, because I felt that by the time they reached the last episode, and I'm not sure how the writing process was in terms of the production schedule, but they were really on a good roll, and they were finding their groove. at
They were in
that
a good
point.
role with the riffs inside the theater during the movie. I think that they really got into a very comfortable groove.
Yeah.
And then the host segments, I think they were really developing very nicely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would like to see more with everyone still intact from this.
Mm-hmm.
If Jonah decides he wants to do something else, then I'm available.
I have a
Yeah.
pitch for everyone, and I don't know if you guys are gonna like it, but bear with me. Do you guys know the show? How did this get made?
I know the show.
Okay,
yes.
all of it, yeah.
Jason Mantzoukas, Paul Scheer, June-Day, and Raphael, and then they have guests. But essentially, they just watch bad movies and then break it down afterwards. Like, what did we just watch?
Right.
Essentially, and ask the questions that maybe the directors didn't think to ask. And it's wonderful. It's a wonderful analysis.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I think maybe we could do with this show is like have more of an element of what did we just watch? I don't know if they have that moment of downtime ever on the ship,
No,
where
yeah.
they process it, but I would love to see that. That said, I think one of the really amazing things about this season has been, I mean, everything.
Sure.
But one of the things that stood out to me was the voice of, what's her name, Gypsy.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
thought that was rad to have like an actual lady voice occasionally
Yeah.
pop in. And I think we kind of need more of that because
Yeah.
she's able to make jokes that the guys would be like really creepy to make, or you know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
Yeah, to have a female voice in there. Now, in the old series, they had Gypsy in there a couple of times, but it was the old Richard Basehart.
Yeah, exactly.
And as much as I loved that Gypsy, I think think this one is more practical. Now, there are people very upset that they decided to do
It's
that.
true. It's true.
Because you tinker with anything, it's a beloved. I mean,
Right.
you know,
It's true.
I've interviewed Kevin Murphy, who was the voice of Tom Servo from seasons 2 through 10.
Yes.
So basically, he was the voice of Tom Servo as appearing on Farad's shirt.
Thank you very much.
And
Very great
he had, and this was in, I think, 1990. So this is in the days of the old dot matrix, like not laser printer. He had, it was like 20 pages. Somebody printed out, mailed to the show, I hate Tom Servo's new voice.
Right.
So in 13 episodes with Josh Elvis Weinstein, they'd gotten so attached to it. When you dared to put a new guy in there, so I don't know if we had any I hate Gypsy's new voice. But people are
I'm
very
sure we
protective.
did.
There were a lot of like, I only really liked the show with Joel. I didn't really like it with Mike, and I never understood that because at the center of the show, it is the movies. I love all the other stuff.
Yeah.
But if Jonah doesn't come back, it's not like I'm not going to watch it.
It's true.
Right,
you know?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the idea.
If
of
I
him
don't
being a
get cast,
bridge.
I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
You know, but
yeah, exactly.
you know, I mean, that's just pride
Yeah.
talking.
That
Yeah.
said, hey guys, if you need a new host,
Yeah, hey,
loyal fans.
if they want to put
A
one of us
dual
on
thing?
camera, or two of us could be robots. You know, whatever
Yeah.
they want to do. We want to have new robots.
Yeah.
Look, we're available. That's the point.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
At Christian
We
DMZ,
need
at Andrew Mena, and it's
work.
Farad Muhammad, but it's at FARD, so at
At
Fard
Fard
Muhammad.
Muhammad, yeah.
Hard Muhammad.
Not confusing.
No.
Right.
Not confusing.
No,
Never.
no.
But anyway, I
Thanks,
think
Mom.
that I think we'll get more of the show at
Yeah.
some point. I think that Netflix is throwing so much money around, like billions of dollars on programming, and the Kickstarter showed the kind of support that there is
Yes.
for it.
Absolutely,
Now,
yeah.
I don't know what it translates to because Netflix never lets you know,
Right.
views and
numbers
things.
are or
but
whatever.
it has to be more people than watch Bloodline. Come on. That got 3 seasons. This is
13
only had
reasons
1.
why we need more MST3K.
Yes, and we got
Precisely.
14 episodes, so take that 13 reasons.
Come on.
Yeah.
It all works out mathematically.
It does all work out mathematically.
Let's get into the movie because we almost
Yes.
haven't talked about this movie other
Yeah.
than loving Doug McClure and Peter
Cushing.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which for those watching on YouTube, I'm wearing a T-shirt with 13 Doctor Who's on it
Yeah.
because of a great riff early on in this. Peter
Is
Cushing.
he one of the doctors?
Peter Cushing, the Doctor Who no one would dare cosplay because he was Doctor Who in a movie where they took the scripts of 2 episodes and they turned it into a movie version. Everyone hates that movie. I've actually never seen it, but I guess because I believe William Hartnell was still alive and actually healthy at that point. So it was like, how dare you? Talk about how you want to talk about fandoms where people are very protective of
Oh,
things.
that is the one.
That's the one.
And it's
Yeah.
also one that they've reinvented so many times that everyone is very particular about the one that they like the best.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And the one that I like is me because I'm available. No, just a little callback and jokes.
Get the fans in here.
Yeah.
Question for who?
Big fan of Peter Cushing's mustache. Let's
Yes,
just start with the
yeah,
most important.
Delightful. And his
Yeah.
umbrella work.
Yeah. Just so great.
Just that umbrella work.
It
I'm
actually,
very British.
It actually made me long for. It's too bad that he never got to play Alfred Pennyworth. you know?
yeah.
He would have been
Yeah.
an amazing. I mean, I think he was probably too big for it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But he would have been so good. And
Well, we have Michael Caine as a present day.
That's true.
Alfred, so I mean,
Excuse me. We currently have Jeremy
Mike.
Irons.
That's true. Yeah.
And we had Michael Caine for
We had Michael.
for the good ones. The Christian guy. No, I like Affleck
You like
man or
Batfleck.
whatever. Batfleck. Yeah, I knew I was calling him the wrong thing.
That's okay.
Anyway, so not that
funnier.
movie, but this movie.
This movie.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about it. Your thoughts of At the Earth's Core. I'll start with you, Andrew.
Man, I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I think it's a goofy, good time. There's a lot of really weird setups in it. All of the weird monster, kind of like Godzilla-y elements of things, and the way that
Yeah.
they filmed it, which was really kind of like low budgety and obvious, which was cute and fun and campy. It just felt campy and silly. It reminded me very much, and like it helped that they made those like the parallels between that and Star Trek. 'Cause
Yeah.
it reminded me of like an old Star Trek. That was like what it looked like.
Yeah, it
yeah.
definitely felt like an old Star Trek. You agree, Farad?
Absolutely. I did feel that the movie was a lot of fun to watch, as well as a lot of fun to see the riffs to hear the riffs being made by Jonah and the bots there. I also like the fact that they incorporated a lot of Flying Tom Servo in a couple of scenes.
Yeah.
I
there,
like
too.
that a lot.
That's what we've talked about.
Yes.
Gypsy in the theater. I love Flying Tom Servo
I have a couple
and
of those
Crow.
written.
In this episode, Crow I believe came by with hot dogs, peanuts.
Yeah,
his
yeah.
concessions, and I like them doing more stuff.
Did they all duck under the mushroom as well?
Yes,
Yes.
which
I
I
love
thought was
that.
very funny. And in the earliest I think maybe it was season 1. They used to do a lot of like Batman, like pow sound effects during fight scenes.
Right.
But the technology wasn't so good for the superimposing. It was really hard to read. Like if you watch, this is very nerdy, but welcome to this show.
I mean, yeah.
If you watch the first season, the first Comedy Central or Comedy Channel season, it's gray and it's really hard to see sometimes when they would hold stuff up.
It's like an overhead projector.
But it was like, because you could tell that they had a bad experience with that, they didn't really do that much of it. And it's disappointing, but I'm glad that they're utilizing HD to its fullest potential right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
And yeah, the flying Tom Servo was, was
when he
great.
turned into the caterpillar for a moment.
Who are you?
Yeah, that was one that I wrote down. I was very excited for that. Yeah.
Delightful.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting because you're right. It is a very Star Trek story. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, oh, I don't understand your ways, but I will steal your woman.
Exactly.
But by the way, he was entitled to that woman.
Apparently.
And, you know, I mean, he was being rude by not taking
But
her.
he never
Right.
didn't act entitled to that woman. You know? He
Hey,
didn't have an
hey,
arc.
that's
That was
Doug
always-
McClure.
That's all. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Perhaps
just
you
that
remember-
Doug McClure flavor.
Maybe you recognize me from this misogyny right here. But
Oh man.
I don't know. I think that, whoever would have thought, like, you know, who need to be in a movie together? Doug McClure and Peter Cushing.
Like I can imagine watching this movie as a kid, and not that I did, but I can imagine watching it as a kid and having a really strong positive impression of it because it has all this like fun steampunky
Yeah.
design. Peter Cushing is so adorable, and Doug
Yeah.
McClure is like misguidedly misogynistic in a way that was like, oh yeah, that's totally acceptable.
And I love how often he tries to smoke on their little submersible drill
Oh, I
machine.
know.
And,
He's
and
always
it's like,
smoking.
It's like, oh, here we are. And
It's like Wolverine.
We talk, but Wolverine has a healing factor, kids,
Right.
so he's able to smoke.
Right.
Doug McClure does not. But my
Zap
favorite
Brannigan.
running joke is that was another thing to what Farad was saying, sort of the groove that they were getting in. They had really good running jokes in some of the later episodes, the
Yeah.
second half of the season, and the one in this was just constantly referencing food that he wanted to eat. You know, and,
Meatball sub. Yeah. Oh, it's so funny.
and then it was there were a few of those things which I thought were very funny, you know, and there was one in particular that I'll try and find before we're done, but
Yeah.
you know, it was just a lot of something about how his face was made of steak.
I definitely wrote down the meatball sub one.
the
That one came
meatballs-
up more than once.
Yeah, exactly. There were definitely a few of those. What were some of the things that you liked about this movie, Farad? Now I know you'd watched it a while ago, but you did a little a crash course before you came here.
That's
so
correct.
Just general thoughts on what you remember.
Well, in terms of the movie itself, I mean, much like what Mr. Mena said earlier, it felt like a movie that I would probably watch on like a Saturday afternoon on over in Chicago, Channel 9, like the local television station or something like
Yeah.
that. It did have that very cool. Since live television here, it did have that kitsch feel to it there. That's what
Yeah,
I would call it.
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And also just a classic, like almost swashbuckling notion of the hero, but without actual swashbuckling, of course.
I mean, they could have.
they could've.
I mean,
his
Doug
shirt
McClure
was open enough.
Yeah,
To be
Yeah,
Doug
yeah.
McClure is quite the
Yeah.
the swashbuckler for sure.
he is.
So I mean, I felt that the movie was was a very highly enjoyable thing to watch there. So
Yeah, this is a movie that if it had been on HBO in the afternoon when I was a kid, like
yeah.
so many movies are that I've seen far too many times. This is one I'm like, oh yeah, there's dinosaurs in this. There's fighting. And,
Yeah.
you know.
And some of the dinosaur design. Let's talk about that for like 2 seconds. Like,
Yeah.
those two like upright rhino dinosaurs. The one like
Yeah.
snatch
Yeah.
the guy and then have a fight. That was delightful. Like
Yeah.
I kind of was into that.
Are you listening, young Gary?
Hey.
or that
Don't-
one,
yeah.
or that one with that kind of looked like a large parrot or something like
Yeah.
that. near the
Polly
beginning
want
of
to
the
kill
movie.
you.
Yeah,
I wrote that
that's-
down.
That's right at the top.
killed
Yeah,
me.
probably want to kill you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the weird like bird people, and then there was of course there was the obligatory Sam the Eagle from the Muppet Show reference,
Oh, yeah.
and then later on in the episode they're like, is it too soon to make another Sam the Eagle joke? And I'm like, no.
Oh,
But
and,
they
and during
didn't.
that fight sequence, then they were like, Jim Henson's great Muppet atrocity.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
delightful.
there was one of the fight scenes back to Star Trek. They actually did the Star Trek fight music.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, by the way, you know, Josh, if you can dig up the Star Trek fight music on YouTube and just sort of play it in the background, we'll enjoy it
Yeah,
when
you
it
know.
comes up.
Yeah.
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say they have a delight. Like we mentioned this a lot, but their singing in this is delightful. The
Oh, yeah.
Smelt song at the beginning,
Yes.
and
Smelt song, yeah,
they
yeah.
beatboxed for something. I think the Benny Hill theme at one point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it's so fun.
That Benny
Musical
Hill theme
elements.
is kind of a constant throughout this season, and
Yeah.
also throughout
There
the run of this series. Yeah, and the Star Trek fight music is always a favorite. This is like the early. This is like when you're about to start. You know,
I
this
think
is
that's
like
when
this is
they're
a very
getting Spock ready for
ceremonial.
the
Yeah.
fight, yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Josh. Thank you, Cambot. I gave away Cambot's secret identity in the
Oh,
final
no.
episode of the
Oh,
show.
now all of his
the big
villains are
reveals.
going to
and here's
steal
the
his
worst
family.
part. I forgot the button. It's like
Oh, no.
it's actually out in my car.
How do we even?
How do we even do this
You
show?
have a car outside the satellite?
Yeah, it's
That's
parked up.
crazy.
It's being
it's
being
sort of
driven.
umbilicus, yeah.
It's being driven by Joel McHale.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Which, since I brought it up, great cameo.
Great cameo.
Yeah.
Because if there's anybody who embodies
Like
the
a Doug
beauty of Doug
McClure-ian.
McClure, it is definitely Joel McHale.
Can we
Yeah.
see like a Star Trek scene with Joe McHale? Because he could play characters like Kirk so fun.
Oh my God,
yeah.
he would be amazing.
Oh, he's
yeah,
so- he's
he
so
should actually be on the new Star Trek that they're doing for CBS All Access. He should be like a captain of another ship.
Yes.
Just so,
Oh,
just shows
absolutely.
up in an episode.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would. I think he'd be well suited. You know?
Yeah, the ship can
The
be
guy who tries to out Kirk.
the SS overcompensatious. yeah. Love it.
Yeah. So there's so many good things to talk about.
Too many.
There were some great Star Wars references from Peter Cushing. One that I wrote down. I dreamt I was a protocol droid. Love that one.
There was a word that I had to look up, just an
Uh-oh.
actual word I had to look up, and I love the word now.
What is the word?
It's just her suit.
Oh, Harry.
Harry. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Some could say Andrew Mena.
Her
suit.
Yeah, swarthy was my favorite term up until
But see,
then. But
swarthy is
there's also darkness. To
yeah,
that.
well, and swarthy is a negative connotation.
Well,
Hirsute is like
I don't think so.
Peter Cushing in this film was hirsute.
Yes.
Was he swarthy?
No.
Let us know
Doug
in the
McClure,
chat.
though.
Doug
He's a little
McClure.
swarthy.
Hi, I'm
got a
Doug
swarthy
McClure.
charm.
I was born swarthy.
That sounds correct.
Yeah. James Ferrasi in the chat says he likes Gypsy's voice. It didn't bother him. And and he's sort of explaining the Doctor Who and the Daleks and the Dalek invasion of Earth. So
That's important.
that's important because see again, people who know about Doctor Who, they don't want you to get things wrong.
Right.
So that was a
important.
big reason why I was put off for like 35 years. But anyway, we move on. Yeah, and we appreciate everybody in the chat today. See what happens when Farad comes aboard the satellite of Buzz?
Yeah. We have too much fun.
we get extra
Pew, pew,
people.
pew, pew.
Yeah. Remember there was a lady, the first show we did, she was like chatting the whole time and she loved us. I don't think she ever came back to the show.
You know what? She just moved on to different shows.
Yeah, she. You know what? She probably didn't like our ongoing feud with the after show for
Shit,
13
reasons why she's not coming back to see this show.
13 reasons why you can go screw yourself, kid.
Oh, dang.
Dang.
You know, we're still bitter.
We're just a little bit.
Yeah.
Bitter, not bitter. Yeah.
This is the part where we.
Yeah.
This is the part where we. That was just us being bitter.
Yeah.
This is the part where we just throw out random references we like. There
yes.
was a Sid and Marty Krofft feel to this entire world.
Yeah.
So when we got HR crushing stuff, I actually rewound it because I wanted to hear it again. Yeah, and actually the following line was, "What is this? The Sid and Marty Krofft Death March?" So we had some of that, and we already referenced the Tom Servo on the
Mushrooms
mushroom.
there,
Yeah.
Yes.
And just bad jokes that I'll just skip.
Get him.
One of the ones that got me was, "What do you think, Rob Zombie?" Because the guy sitting there with the big beard who hadn't said anything.
And then when we finally get that guy's scene where
Yeah.
he's like doomed to slavery and death, and he's like a better actor than anyone else in the movie. It was so
Unfortunately,
funny.
even than Doug McClure. And it's weird because you've seen so many movies like this where the locals are confused and have trouble communicating, but then within 2 minutes they all speak English.
Yeah, they speak perfect English.
Yeah, and there's not even like a gimmicky explanation for it.
In my head, they all just they're holding out.
Yeah,
They're
just
all just
like
they're
just
just
like,
like tell
maybe
the
if I
foreigner
don't-
we can speak their language.
maybe if I don't say anything, Doug McClure will go away. But unfortunately,
that's what it is.
Doug McClure will never go away.
Nope.
And then a joke we got a couple of times because it was froggy looking. hi-ho, I'm Kermit the Mayhar.
I did enjoy that.
Yeah, and the Mayhars, it's like, sometimes you see movies like this, and you're like, just work a little harder on the names.
Yeah.
The Mayhar?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
Reptilicus, that's a great name.
Yeah.
But Mayhar,
Less so.
but then that lent itself to a couple of Joy Behar jokes.
yeah.
So I guess, you know, advantage us.
Exactly. You know, you take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
I really love the do-back plus Rancor equals this thing.
Yes.
Analogy.
I
or
have that down.
reference.
Yeah. Because, and that's like, that's not for your, oh, I like Star Wars. That's your, like, I loved Star Wars and I had action figure play sets and I had the Dewback and I wanted the Rancor, but he was too big. He was like
real big.
twice as much as a Dewback.
I see like mint ones in comic book stores for way too much money.
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh gosh, one
Mom.
day, guys. One day.
I have a lot of like non-mint Star Wars toys that I like to think my son's gonna want, but at some point I'd be like, oh great, Dad, you saved trash for me for 30 years.
And you're like, this is mine.
Can we recycle this?
Aw.
Yeah, that's inside my head.
I remember there
Yeah.
was one riff that was done at the beginning, and as a fan of stand-up comedy, it tickled me greatly. It was when Doug LaCour turned around to cheer to greet the crowd and all that before he entered into the ship, and he was smoking a cigar. And at one point, I think it was Servo said "tater salad."
Yeah,
that's right.
I love that too.
Because he did have a strong resemblance to Ron White.
Like this is what Ron White was dressed like that night. Yes, I totally love that one too.
They worked some impressions into this episode. We got Johnny Carson. Farad is a big fan of Carson and late night television in general. It's like, they seem to have come out in Tommy Chong's backyard, which was a good one. That I thought of that, and yeah, 'twas McClure that killed the beast, which was nice.
Yes.
Yeah, and there was the army of Paul Giamatti's. We hate Merlot. We hate Merlot.
That was the funniest thing.
Yeah.
I was dying at that. I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah, that and again another Star Wars reference. They sang the Ewok celebration song.
That's
at the
right.
end.
Yeah.
The Wub Nub, as it is affectionately known by people.
Oh, I thought it was Wicket.
Well, Wub Nub is
are
the
we talking about
song.
this? Oh,
yeah.
got it.
It's actually, I had a 45 record, because I'm old, of the Ewok celebration.
Yeah.
And the B-side to it was the song from Jabba's Palace. But then George Lucas tinkered with those movies, and both of those songs got taken out
That's right,
in the
yeah.
special edition.
Yeah.
So I still treasure it. George, you won't break me, Lucas. Anyway. Oh boy.
We're on to you,
Oh,
George.
so one of the food ones that I wrote down,
Yes.
because this is when he leaves the girl behind, who's Carolyn Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to stay, but there's a pan of brownies with my name on it. And then there was like, I'm thinking about street tacos. And then she says something like, oh, I'm sorry, I was still thinking about those street tacos. And it did make me
much
very
food.
hungry during the course of the show.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, it was a fun movie.
Yes.
I thought.
Delightfully.
Was it a good movie? No. But it was fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a movie you can appreciate, but not necessarily have to enjoy.
Yeah. But what we should talk about before we look back on the season as a whole is there was the culmination of this season-long arc, which started like 6 episodes in, but whatever, that Kinga and Jonah were going to get married.
Right.
And the observers were there, which I like to see
was
callbacks to the earlier series, the earlier seasons.
Oh man,
And
I wrote down earlier when we first see the observers, and there's that one observer in the back. He has a brain in his hand. He just keeps smacking it in his hand, threateningly. He was so committed to doing that.
Yeah.
Every time it came back, it was the same face, same smacking rhythm. I was dying. That guy's great.
The Hive Mind manager, the main brain guy, was Paul Chaplin, who's like been a part of Mystery Science Theater from the beginning, which I thought was nice to get him in there. But we get to see all of those guys, but we get to see actual brain guy Bill Corbett, who's currently with Riff Tracks, but also was on Mystery Science Theater during the Sci-Fi Channel years. And we get Professor Bobo, and we get Pearl back, even though she was adamant that she was not going to go to Kinga's wedding. I think that the storyline, it was cute because they played it up in a way of like, oh, we're doing it for ratings. And Max even says like, we don't have ratings. And she's like, shut up. You know?
we're
So
a
they
binge-watching show.
play it up that it's a TV stunt. Not that she suddenly decided she needed to actually marry Jonah.
Right.
Because that would be hard to believe.
Yeah.
That her character, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, which by the way, as a complete aside, Grandma Pearl says Kinga Clayton Forrester So her middle name is her dad's name, which I thought was a nice touch, something that we did not know. Actually, Andrew and I, we couldn't remember her character name in the first episode.
Yeah,
we were like, did they say it? I don't know. Did they?
Science lady. Good.
Lady, science lady.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's how
I
we
think
talk.
I don't know. I think it was cute that they did it. You know, I think it was fun, and they didn't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
You know, because you can't.
Nope.
And you know, obviously, we could have had some guests there that were maybe people from some of the movies in the past. I guess I just came up with that now, so that would have been fun. You know, but I don't know. What did you think about sort of that arc that lasted throughout the few episodes to round out the season?
I thought it was fun. I thought it happened a little bit, like it went on a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, which is like fine, but also it like could have been a little bit sped up. I think there's like a lot of more fun that we could have had with some of the guests. I wish we would have gotten like some of the repeat like visitors from the season.
The swingers from the Time Traveler movie. I would one have liked them to be at the wedding. Two, just to have come back for any reason.
Yeah, I would love to have, for just Doug McClure to have stuck around and be like, is there an open bar? Fantastic, I'll be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, you know, just like,
Except I think that's what Brain Guy said.
Yeah.
That's what
Oh,
Brain
yeah.
Guy.
yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Brain Guy had the open bar.
You know, Brain Guy and Doug McClure would probably get along.
Yeah, they probably have a drink and chat.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was delightful, and then I mean, you know, I think the end went on a little bit longer than it needed to, and I think it's such a. To me, it's such a clear like, oh, we want more. You're gonna give us more, right? We need to finish this sentence.
And I think that's why.
Is he dead?
I think that's
Probably,
why
maybe?
they needed to end it that way. Because
Yes.
I think Netflix probably did say, you know, we want something that runs through it because you want people to keep watching.
wonder.
And
Yes.
it's kind of a silly thing, you know, but at the same time,
yeah.
I understand it from a programming perspective.
Me too.
You know, I referenced weeks ago that when Mr. Science Theater was on the Sci-Fi channel, they wanted there to be sort of a through line, and
Right.
so that was
Right.
where the flying, you know, VW bus and the Brain Guy and all this stuff came, you know, developed over the course of those 3 seasons. 8, 9, and 10. And they, so I think they did a good job with this too, but as with the Sci-Fi channel, it didn't detract from the show at all. It was
Right.
just like, we're just doing a thing.
Yeah, it was just fun.
Yeah, you know, we're doing a thing.
Just
It's
a
all right.
good time.
We're just
like the show is.
We're just taking it easy, like Doug McClure. Yeah, you know. We're
Kissing
gonna
them
have
guns.
we're gonna have a couple of ribeye steaks, and watch a movie.
Nice meatballs.
Hey, Farad,
Yeah.
what did you think of the Jonah getting married to Kinga storyline? I'm
Well-
gonna sit over here and drink my gravy.
Thank you. Well, I did think that because it was mainly in like the host segments in the background, you know, they referenced it once or twice. It wasn't like an over. It wasn't like a, you know, they didn't
It didn't.
mention every single time.
Yeah,
or
it didn't
anything
come
like
into
that,
the
yeah.
theater, which I think was
Precisely,
good,
yeah.
I did like their bachelor party, which I don't even know that was this episode or that was this episode, I think.
Yeah,
where they were just sitting around, you know,
Yep.
and, yeah, with his robot pals, yeah, and you know, basically Crow like despising him less, which I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
was great.
I don't
As well-
dislike you.
yeah, that was exactly what he said. Yeah, I don't dislike you.
And maybe
as
this is
well as
the
he-
drink
And there
talking.
was and actually for longtime fans of the show, actually in that the bachelor party heart to heart is at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
And Crow says this might be the motor oil talking, but I don't dislike you. And he's like, we were really hoping for a combination of Joel and Mike,
yeah.
which would have been a lot like T.J. Miller,
Miller.
but we got you instead.
That's amazing.
And I love the return of Growler, the piano
Yeah,
player.
The
yeah.
Rolf
Yeah, 'cause
adjacent.
because
love
they,
him.
I forget the name of the other robot that they mercilessly slaughtered when
yeah.
Jonah created him.
I was expecting
I
that.
thought that was going to happen, but I'm like, you know what, Growler, something about him.
Yeah, he's
He
just-
can't.
he's kind of delightful.
Yeah, but anyway, so I just wanted to tie that into that. So did you think that that it didn't take away from the season?
No,
You're
no,
agreeing
not
with
at
that?
all.
Yeah.
No, and I also got to know one thing about the Growler robot. One thing is that his voice sounds a lot more like Jim Henson than the guy who took over for Jim Henson.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
He did a super solid Rolf.
And also,
Like, I knew it
also
from
it's
the
the first time that we saw an arm puppet. You know, a puppet with actual arms.
Yeah, that's
True.
true. That
was
actually,
used
yeah.
there, yeah.
Very true.
Which the Jim Henson way was to use actual real hands. Like
Right,
the Swedish chef was
yeah.
actually the real hands
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So that was good. Good thing. Last angry geek in the chat says. By the way, I think that there are a lot of angry geeks. You are
Well, that's the
probably
last
not the last one.
one.
Oh, he's the last
Oh,
one.
yeah, he's the last
There'll be
one,
no
yeah.
more after him.
No.
He assumed that the
Brian.
observers were the Kickstarters who backed at the cameo level. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
That's what I thought, too,
I
yeah.
was not. Actually, you know what? I ended up not doing the Kickstarter because they had met they
goal.
met the limit or the goal. not the limit, because there wasn't. The sky's the limit, kid.
Yeah.
I'm Troy McClure, here to remind you that the sky's the limit. But anyway, so the fact is that I would not have done that. I was going to do I think the mug level, not even the T-shirt. I don't think I had T-shirt money. So, but anyway.
We don't have that T-shirt money.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, in any case, I think that... and by the way, Last Angry Geek also says that Scott Sandler says that Gypsy's voice was better than the Jim Mallon Gypsy, which that's more... I think
agree.
That's more behind-the-scenes stuff. People don't like Jim Mallon, I think, because
Yeah.
people feel like he drove Joel away from the show.
Yeah,
But anyway, I like this Gypsy.
Yeah, I think that she's able to get away with jokes that like just the dudes aren't able to get away with in the same way. And hearing it in that voice is funnier.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and she's played by the same actress who's the clone of Pearl over in the whole.
who I just learned. No, I'm just kidding. Just now here during the show.
Blowing Christian's mind.
Yeah, and I think that the season, and we'll talk about. So keep in mind, we're going to talk about if you have favorite movies or moments. But just to sort of look back on the season as a whole, because maybe there is no new season, or maybe it doesn't come for a little while. But at the same time, I think that it was great. I really liked what they did. It was great casting. I think that having Patton Oswalt, I was very excited.
Yeah.
He was a great TV son of TV's Frank. You'll never be Max to me.
No,
You'll
he'll
always be TV's son of TV's Frank.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, Felicia Day was great. I'm less familiar with him than a lot of people, although I've seen her in like Dr. Horrible. I think was maybe the only thing. But people, but I thought she was great. So people were excited when she was cast. I'm like, I don't know who that is. And then I was like, oh, okay. But Patton Oswalt, very excited. Jonah Ray, I did not know that well. The first time I ever saw Jonah Ray do anything was a Riff Tracks Live Mystery Science Theater 20-something anniversary. 30th anniversary, maybe.
Yeah.
And he and Joel riffed a short
Yes.
during that. And I was like, hey, the new kid's funny. And I tweeted that at him. And he liked it. Because I said nice things.
Nice.
See what happens? You say nice things, people say nice things back.
Yeah. He seems delightful. I used to like to really listen to him and Chris Hardwick talk on the Nerdist podcast they go. He's delightful. He's doing a D&D podcast called Force Grey with Matt Mercer and stuff.
But
Delightful.
which is a great time to mention that there's another great D&D podcast out there called The Dungeon Hole.
Oh yeah, welcome to the Dungeon Hole. I don't think I mentioned that yet. Follow us at Twitter at Dungeon Hole. It's surprising, but we got that whole thing.
Yeah, and I'm at Bladtcast, BLADTCAST. Hey, look, it's the last show. We got to get some plugs in.
That's true.
It's the last show. Or is it, question mark? Because, again, stay tuned. Andrew and I will tell you about something we're doing next week.
At the very end of it, there'll just be Finn. Question mark?
Question mark?
Bomb, bomb, bomb.
Yeah. If you hear us say capsule at some point in this episode, then you'll know that that's a secret code. Yeah, well, of course. I'm not gonna say it. That's what we always say.
Spoilers.
But anyway, I was very happy with the season. I think the highlights for me were probably Star Crash because it's like the kind of watchable bad movie that you would watch as a bad movie without them commenting. And the first Wizard movie, the Wizards of the Lost Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
I really came around on that. I know you watched it a couple times, Andrew.
I did.
After Wizards of the Lost Kingdom 2, it really made me long for Wizards of the Lost Kingdom 1.
I get that. I really get that.
And I had a couple of favorites, but those ones stood out for me. What about you, Andrew? What were some of your favorites during the season?
Big fan of Star Crash, like you mentioned. I think this is probably my new frontrunner. Like, I really enjoyed this.
At the Earth's Core.
Yeah, at the Earth's Core.
Well,
I think
at the Earth's McClure. Thank you.
Boom, boom, boom. All right, that's the show, guys.
Drop the mic.
Yeah, we're not gonna say anything better than that. We should just end it. It was delightful. I thought this was probably my favorite one. I think they made a lot of great jokes. They did a lot of fun bits in the middle. I think the only thing about this that maybe wasn't my favorite was just like the time they took at the very end to do the wedding segment.
It was long.
As it was.
It was long. Yeah.
Yeah, and and it just wasn't a satisfying. Like they talk about when you read a book, and when you finish the
What's a book, Grandpa?
Oh, it's one of these movies. People write down. So when you read a book or when you finish some sort of story, there's supposed to be a sense of like a satisfaction,
Yeah.
And the story of that was like not very satisfying for me.
No,
Like, oh,
it was not satisfying,
bummer.
but it left me wanting
Was it
more.
believable?
By the way, no
Yeah,
matter how
totally.
it ended, I would have been left wanting more. So
That's
they did. I
absolutely
didn't
fair.
need that, but maybe they felt some people did.
Yeah, maybe they could have tapped into that in some way, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought, it was a little to be desired. But that said, maybe it's definitely purposeful.
Right.
It's not even a maybe. It's definitely purposeful.
Farad, some of your high points for the season: favorite movies, favorite moments.
Favorite movie? I gotta go back to Cry Wilderness.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Oh, that was such a good
That
one.
movie was just so goddamn bonkers.
All of the animals doing nothing, just sitting there.
The 75% of a Bigfoot costume. They
gosh.
almost had it.
Exactly. Yeah. Almost,
Terrifying.
Yeah. And also, I also got to give some props to Avalanche because it was a very
That was a really fun
decent
one, too.
attempt at making a 70s style, 70s because we made it in the 70s.
It was made in the 70s, yeah.
Yeah, 70s disaster movie.
No, but it
kinda
was like, oh, we want to get in on some of that Airport 77 cash.
Airport 77
And
or Earthquake or something like that.
You
Yeah,
just
exactly.
you never would have guessed that Mystery Science Theater 3000 would have a movie with Mia Farrow and Rock Hudson and have it be so unwatchable and have them both very differently be so unlikable.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
yeah.
I dislike them for very different reasons.
They were very dislikable.
As for favorite moments, I've got to have to say I was really tickled, and I mentioned this in the chat earlier that there were a couple of Dennis Miller references in the jokes.
Yes,
and,
there were a couple of. I can't remember them now, but there were. Do you
It was
remember?
like there was more slime in the
Oh, yeah.
Teen Choice Awards,
Yeah,
babe.
yeah, exactly. That was the one I was trying to remember. Actually, they did a few of those, and because there are certain jokes that they're like, well, this is so weird, but then if you put it in Dennis's voice, and for people who don't know, that's how I know Farad. Farad actually used to be a caller to the Dennis Miller radio show that I worked on,
And a tweeter.
and a message board poster. But then he met up with us when we did the show in Chicago, and I've known you for a very long time, sir.
Yeah.
So when the fact that you were in town and we were talking MST3K, of course we needed you in there. Let's turn to the chat. Tell
there.
us some of your favorite people in the chat. Although they haven't said anything in a while, they're still in there. People in the chat, tell us some of your favorite moments and or movies from this season.
Yes.
Also,
Youngary.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a fan of the creature features, so Youngary
Yes.
and Reptilicus both.
Reptilicus was pretty good.
But Youngary's ending, you guys, just still
No, but that-
scarred me to
I'm-
this moment.
I'm very like it.
Yeah, right.
Takes,
Like just
it takes
just like
away
you have to
from
stare down into the middle
like
distance.
why did he have to bleed out? Right. That's what I said. On
Why
the
did he have
episode.
to have death throes?
Yeah.
Like he
Like-
just
Like, oh, Youngari, you're gonna
like
be
the
alive.
the last twitching of muscles about to like lose life. It was so upsetting.
Yeah. It still haunts me. Like
Me too.
Like these movies shouldn't upset me that much, but that one
But
did.
they do.
Yeah. And then the Loves of Hercules upset me for completely different reasons.
Yes.
It was just like, is this a movie?
Yeah.
Or
Is this a softcore porn with all
yeah,
the
like
porn cut out?
yeah, it's like because like where is the porn?
Yeah.
You know.
It seems like we're like cutting from
and by
like
the
all
way,
of these like
gay porn, straight porn. I don't know. Both.
yeah,
I
everything.
don't know.
It's a pan porn.
Everything goes when Mickey Hargitay's on set. Apparently,
That's true.
Yep.
Nice guy. I've met him. I just always should mention that.
Yep.
Actually, that actually was also one of my favorite moments inside of Hercules, where Hercules is about to throw the axe over at the Jane Mansfield character, and,
Yeah.
and they go into like this. What was it? It was like they go into a musical selection very briefly, and then they go, "He's got an axe!"
Yeah. Last Angry Geek
Stand by me. That was it.
Oh,
mentions Beast of Hollow Mountain, a cheesy western that has Godzilla show up in the last 15 minutes.
Good. Oh,
Yeah.
That was such a twist. Such a
You're like
from
bad,
dusk till dawn twist.
Yeah, it's like bad western, bad western, bad western, bad western, bad Godzilla. Where did that come from?
It
was hiding
was
in
just
this
a
hole.
dinosaur. I thought it was
Yeah.
going to be like an actual beast, but
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beast does not denote dinosaur.
Well, they do if you have one for a roommate. Thank you.
I
I mean, come on.
Making the jokes.
Time Travelers wasn't my favorite movie,
But it was fun.
It was a lot of fun, mostly because of the weird
gave us- what's his name?
swingers space. Yeah, and we got to see Danny again.
Danny.
Wait, no, Danny was in that one, and then Danny showed up in Avalanche.
Avalanche, that's right,
I
yeah.
forgot that was the order that they were.
Gosh.
In. Yeah,
And it
Oh,
was the only
Danny.
episode where you saw Joel not being in the Artie costume. As
Well, no, Joel was Santa Claus in the Santa Claus one.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
but yeah, it's where we actually saw his face.
face, yeah, exactly, yeah.
And and he didn't speak, but I love the space swingers. That's why I said I wish the space swingers had shown up
me
at
too.
the
They
the
would've been
wedding.
fun wedding guests.
Yeah.
They would have worked out for.
I'm already married, but if I weren't, I would invite the space swingers to my wedding. So
Yeah.
anybody watching the show, consider inviting the space swingers.
Just think about it.
yeah, you know.
They seem like they know how to party.
Oh, I'm just want to go over the list just to make sure we didn't forget anything because we
Please.
can't forget anything.
Oh, that Santa Claus one was so creepy and
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah.
and
Delightful and awful.
and that one was recent, so it's
Yeah.
that's still lingering.
fresh.
I'm
Yeah.
glad that Christmas is so far off.
The song of him singing about the sleeping children, so gross.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
the villain with like a house full of cobwebs. Ugh.
And like, yeah. and
You
he's
mean
like,
Mr. Prune?
You mean Mr. Prune, the Ricardo Montalban adjacent man?
Yeah, he's very Jason. And poor Carnival Magic, you know? I mean, the chimp.
What
know?
was Carnival? Carnival Magic was the most upsetting movie. Where if I had seen that movie, apropos of nothing, if someone had just sat me down and been like, "You should watch this movie," I'd be like, "Okay," and then I'd watch it, and then I'd be really, just, "What did I watch?"
Yeah, but you'd also be like,
I wasted my life.
What is it about me that makes you think I should watch that movie? You know, if a friend said, "Hey, watch Carnival Magic," what is wrong with
What
you?
do you think I like?
Yeah.
Chimps not talking, men giggling at chimps doing inane household tasks.
Hey, how you doing? I'm a chimp. Do you have anything funny to say? No, not really.
You know what he likes? He likes. I think he likes those vegetable carts getting hit with cars. But you know, he
good
doesn't want
stuff.
to take too long to do. Or no, he wants to take a real long time to do it. He likes them real extended.
I guess I don't know.
Anyway,
Such a weird movie.
as Jonah as Marjorie Gardner in Star Crash was did a top 10 list of movies I want MST3K to riff for season 2/12. Well, James Ferrazzi, if you post that list, I will read them here while we talk.
Yeah.
But before we run out of time,
Yes.
it's time to let people know, Andrew.
Yes.
This is our last Mystery Science Theater 3000 after show, but we will be back next week.
Bum, bum, bum.
And we're going to do a watch along. I think it's a Popcorn Talk Network show, not an AfterBuzz show. But
That sounds
follow us
correct.
on Twitter at MST3K ABTV.
It's
I know, I almost-
probably right here on the screen.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but
maybe
probably.
not, but it might be. Yeah, at MST3K ABTV. Follow us there, or any of us
Yeah.
at our Twitter. We'll even have
Individually.
Farad posted as well.
absolutely.
We are going to watch Star Crash,
Nice.
and we're going to provide commentary during it. And you can watch with us
Making some
because
riffs.
Star Crash was chosen, one, partially because it's my favorite, two, because Germans love David Hasselhoff, that's for you, and three, because it's free on YouTube.
And you can watch it too.
Yeah, you can watch it for free while we watch it.
Right.
So you can put it in a window, and you can put us in another window.
Yeah.
You will have windows.
If you have two of those screens, like a cool editor person, you can put us on one of them, and then you can do your other stuff on the other one and get stuff done while we make funny jokes.
That just got real.
Yes.
Right there, what you said. So, and that'll be next Friday, the 16th, 1 p.m. Pacific.
1 p.m.
We've bounced around times a lot lately.
Yes.
And we had a
But
week
we've
where we
been
weren't here.
consistent on Fridays.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. We've never done a non-Friday show.
Yes.
That would be heresy.
No. Yes, it would
Friday is Jonah's day.
be. Yes. It is the day of Jonah.
Yeah, it
We're
is the day
changing
of
into Jonah Day.
Jonah Day. Yeah, exactly. So
day.
anyway, you'll be able to see that next Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, but it'll live out
It'll
there
live on the
forever,
internet.
just like all the episodes. So if you're only just catching up on MST3K now, go back and watch our past
back
shows.
there.
We've done. I don't know how many. We did 8, 7. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep track, really.
Yeah, we did.
We did. Yeah. So we've
one
done
for every two besides this one.
well, the first one was, I think, just a one.
Was it a one?
Yeah, because I had to.
I don't
I had to
remember that
bore
far
people
back.
about how long I'd been watching the show and show 'em my little props, if you
fair.
remember.
Okay.
I had my 26-year-old Info Club membership packet.
wanna say we have
which
8,
which
but I'm
I
not
should
good
have
at math.
gotten when the show was on the air, but I never got a chance.
Rod.
Yeah, I know.
Did you have a stamp?
I did, and I didn't use
Hey, look at
it.
Farad. Hey, Farad, how about I buy you a stamp, okay? That's, again, just for him. Because Farad has an amazing laugh. That's the thing. You were telling us
is
before we
infectious.
started, actually,
Yes.
you tried to get some work with Central Casting.
Yes.
But you'd have to join the laughter union,
yeah,
the guild.
the laughing guild?
The
of
laughter
America,
guild,
LGA,
yeah.
That's right,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Okay, so James Farassi gave us his 10 movies.
All right, let's
Oh, let's hear it.
I don't know what some of these. I don't know. Do I know any of these?
I don't know.
Well, I'll go with number 2. He says the Sharknado movies. I don't think you can do those. Now, Riff Tracks did Plan 9 from Outer Space, and you can do that.
Yeah.
Even, people felt like, oh, but it's so bad. How can you? Definitely can. But Sharknado knows it's bad.
Yeah.
And they try to be bad. If anything, maybe Sharknado 1. Now, the Riff
Maybe,
Tracks
yeah.
guys have done at least 2 Sharknados, and I went to go see them. So it is possible.
Yes.
Because they are still bad, even though they were trying to be
And
bad.
they are delightfully bad. Yeah, exactly. In spite of themselves
Yeah.
trying to be bad, they're still bad in ways that you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah, and I don't rule it out entirely. It's not my first
You
choice.
feel like it's well tread water.
And so here's movies that he suggests. The Three Tails. I don't know what that is. Tails. I don't know that one. And he has one that says Kick Asia, so it's like Kick Ass, but Asia. Is that an Asian Kick Ass?
Cicassia. That's actually an anniversary movie that was done by the people over at this website called channelawesome.com. It features a whole bunch of like web reviewers and all that there, and so they all got together in this remote micronation called Molossia and tried to take it over, and so they renamed it Kikassia.
So it's not a real movie.
And it's a movie. I mean,
Okay,
it's
it's a
on
movie-ish.
DVD. You can purchase it at
Wait,
channelawesome.com.
let's interrupt that list real fast.
Oh.
Farad Muhammad, what's the movie that you're in? Tell people.
Oh,
Make sure
oh,
that they know.
yeah, I'm
we have you here to. You come up in this outer space to promote, and I almost forgot.
yeah.
I'm in a new movie called Jesus Bro. It's a spoof of the recent crop of Pureflix movies that have recently come out there.
Is Kirk Cameron in it?
Kirk Cameron is not in it, but we
Well,
do
then I will not
reference-
watch it.
We reference Kirk Cameron saving Christmas, though. I'm actually
He
gonna
did
see
save
that.
Christmas.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's
Yeah.
I mean, that's just canon.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's available.
Not even Mr. Prune could stop Kirk Cameron. By
That
the
is
way.
true. That,
Yeah.
yes. and a Santa Claus that ended up beating up
Yeah.
people to death.
Yeah.
By the way, because Kirk
Cameron-
Cameron pays his mortgage. That's why Mr. Prune couldn't stop it. Anyway,
Trying
sorry.
to do the Grinch heart
Yeah.
situation. Oh no, I care.
And they say that day that Doug McClure's heart grew 3 sizes. Anyway, sorry. So, Jesus Bro.
Jesus Bro.
Jesus Bro.
Jesus Bro?
Yeah, so I played the best friend of the main character. My character's name is Carlos. He does have a very
Because I look at you and I think, Carlos.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. And he also has a very distinctive laugh. That's probably the main reason I was hired on to do the movie. And
There it is.
Yeah, so yeah, it's available online over at JesusBroMovie.com. And
Well,
you
excellent.
Could, yeah,
There we
you can
go.
purchase it on DVD where you have commentaries. I'm actually on the commentary for one of them.
Nice.
And you could also buy it or rent it on Vimeo. No, all the links for that are on the.
Would you
on the website
welcome Jonah and the robots riffing Jesus Bro?
Absolutely. In
All
fact,
right.
one of my Facebook profile images has me as Carlos with the silhouettes in the bottom.
Oh,
of it.
I love
would
that.
love
Oh, that's
for them
great.
to do that there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be fun.
A couple more of the movies that James Farassi gave us.
Yes.
One I definitely agree with, Caligula. Yes,
Ooh,
please.
yeah.
Yes, please.
Let's do that.
I mean, plus Netflix doesn't really have an MPAA situation there, or,
Yeah.
or an
Yeah.
FTC
Well,
regulation.
if you want to go with the, maybe the TV version of Caligula that's like 8 minutes.
Is there a
8 minutes.
TV
No, I
version?
don't.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
think
like
there
8
is.
minutes long. Yeah, that's all they can show.
The Room,
Jeez.
where.
The,
I
the
can see
Oh,
that.
hi,
Yeah,
Mark.
yeah.
Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah, I mean, look, the Riff Tracks guys
Yeah,
have
Riff
done
Tracks
it
have done it
multiple
already, yeah.
times,
Yeah.
so it's very possible. And it's more like you're just kind of joking along with them because
Yes,
obviously
yeah.
anybody can make fun of that movie.
Oh, absolutely,
Why are
yeah.
there so many spoons on the wall?
that movie.
have you
The
been to a-
catch sequence. I just
Have you
all
been
of
to
it.
a live, been to like a midnight screening of The Room?
Oh,
it's so
I
fun.
have. And who do you think
yeah.
was there? Who do you think showed up?
Tommy Wiseau?
Tommy Wiseau
Nice.
and Mark.
Oh, nice.
And Mark were
Yeah.
both there. I hadn't seen the movie yet, though. So
Does
I
everyone
didn't-
say, "Oh, hi, Mark"? to
They
Mark?
did actually.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, but I
Richard
hadn't
Sterling,
seen it
yeah,
yet, so I
yeah,
didn't know
yeah.
how to say. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, doggy. Oh, there's a dog here at the studio today. On the way out, make sure you say, "Oh, hi, doggy."
I will.
There's one of the engineers at AfterBuzz is Mark. I believe you know Mark.
yes, I know Mark.
And somebody said to him, "Oh, hi, Mark," and he's like, "Yeah, I haven't heard that before." If he was engineering our show now, I'd say, "Oh, hi, Mark," but he's not.
He's not.
So the fishtails, I don't know what that is. Anything from U-Boll, U-W-E-B-O-L-L.
Uwe Boll, yeah.
I knew I didn't know how to say it because I'm not smart. I read comic books way before they were good. Like, I didn't read comic books when they were, like, you know, quote-unquote art. So, like, I'm just not smart. Rhinestone, I believe, a Sylvester Stallone movie, if that's the one I'm thinking of. Absolutely. And I think I went through all of them. So thank you, James Ferrossi. Look, I'm into some great suggestions.
Yeah, I would love to see Kickassian being done on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Well, unfortunately, that does bring us to the end of the season. But again, one quick reminder: next Friday, June 16th, 1 Pacific. You will not be here, but you can be in Chicago watching on your lunch break or whatever. And you can tweet at us at MST3KABTV, and I'm at Christian DMZ. And it's been a thrill for me to talk about this show because I was such a huge fan of the show since I was a wee lad. Yes. So to be able to talk about it and to get to know Andrew has been great. And so thanks to everybody who watched the show. Andrew,
Thank you guys so much for watching the show. I'm such a big fan of this show, and I'm so glad that we get to kind of bridge the generation gap and talk about two different generational fans. Thank you so much for being here, Farad.
Absolutely, thanks so much.
It's delightful to have your delightful laugh with us.
At Andrew Mena.
At Andrew Mena. If you want to check out this D&D podcast, if you're into that kind of thing, check out at Dungeon Hole on Twitter. We will release a new episode tomorrow, so we will have 2 whole episodes to enjoy.
I'm falling behind already. I'm going to have to binge the 2 episodes.
That's the good thing about podcasts.
And I'll mention, even if I didn't before, at Christian DMZ and at Bladtcast, BLADTCAST, at Fard Muhammad, but it's pronounced Farad Muhammad.
Yes. Got it.
Thank you. I don't have the right button, but go ahead and, for the last time, go ahead and pretend there's a button and push the button, Andrew.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Capsule!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.